万歳に感謝する。大地の怒りがこの腕を伝う。防御を問わず疾風熾烈山終わらせる。
So the ability quote here was just so epic, but yeah, I'm not sure if I can get behind the death sounds of the chocobo, and here are some other clips as well, which I'm going to show.
まだまだだ。
So, in my opinion here, I think, like, some of those sounds, like the monster grunts or something when they take damage, I feel like that should have not been in here, but that's just my opinion. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to not be a fan of it, but, you know, to each their own, so I'm going to respect that. However, this female death scream, I'm not sure, but this is the Japanese version, so let's take a look at that. Yeah, I think the voice actress was trying a bit too hard there, or I didn't like the direction it's being taken, so we don't know how it's going to be in English, but I feel like if we could turn off some sounds, I'm definitely going to turn off the death sound of female and probably of other things like the chocobo, but I'm just glad the ability quotes are back. I know they were a thing in the Japanese War of the Lions, but not in the, you know, the English, so we're gonna see. But I'm so excited to hear all the scenes being voiced, so that's gonna be really cool to see some of these characters coming to life in a different way. And these two scenes are in Japanese, but I think it's beautifully done, and I can't wait to hear it in English. So here they are. I think the VAs did a fantastic job, and Alma and Tetra are coming to life, so I'm so excited for things like this.
リリータ兄さん、お元気そうで何よりです。私なら大丈夫。天下のベオルブ家のご令嬢よ。学校なんて狭い世界で負けたりしないわ。
Personally, though, I feel like the death screams and the monster grunts can go, but I'm still gonna play it. I mean, here, I dropped so much money on it already. And I did find an article, so it does look like the director here, Kazutoyo Maehiro, says more tactics games may be coming, but this is kind of, to me, kind of odd. You know what I mean? I feel like Final Fantasy Tactics, or like the strategy RPG genre, is already kind of niche. You know what I mean? Like Tactics and War of the Lions, you know, people forgot about that game, which was a remaster. Like, sold over 2 million copies, and probably more people even played it because, you know, there's the mobile version, which we don't really know the sales of. Here's my link or source to how many copies the series has sold as a whole, and you can also see Advanced and A2 as well. So assuming we're going from the original FFT and War of the Lions, the game has already proven itself and sold. Like, I'm not sure why this was delayed for so long. You know what I mean? And like, FFT was hot, and I know the developers and some people, very few people, are going to say we're going to cater to like a newer generation of players, but the thing is with Final Fantasy is a lot of its fan base are people that are 26 and older. Easily, no questions asked. Like, very few people in high school or like college are gonna go out to buy this game. You know what I mean? So I really don't see that. Like, I love FFT with all my heart, man. Like, my channel was made long before the NVIDIA leak, and I've been posting content about it, not just because it became a topic and, you know, I'm making videos and posting about it. You know what I mean? And in terms of cost and development of this, I'm not sure what the budget is, but all I will say is that Final Fantasy Tactics has not been, you know, like the favorite child or loved as much. So I've been replying to people, like, you guys have been amazing in the comments, but just think about it, okay? The Ivalice Chronicles is going to sell more than Forspoken, I guarantee it, okay? Forspoken got a budget of allegedly $100 million. Why can't FFT get even some of this? You know what I mean? Like, it's, in my opinion, on the Mount Rushmore of Final Fantasy games. To me, it's Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy XIV, and Tactics. That's my Mount Rushmore. Like, you know, 100 million is a lot of money. And people always wanted, like, the older Final Fantasy games. Like, you know, you see Expedition 33. I've never played it. I've seen some gameplay of it. It looks stellar and amazing. I will, once I have more free time, I'm going to buy the game. But, you know, these companies, even like Sony, they decided to go with Concord, which the budget was also insane. Like, why couldn't they do a Legend of Dragoon remake? I'm pretty sure that would have done infinitely better. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could take, you know, an undercooked brownie and that'd be better than Concord and Forspoken. But, you know, FFT deserved way more than that. Like, why not take some of those millions and be like, hey, Akihiko Yoshida, here's $1 million. Drop, you know, some official character art of like Elmdor or something. Like, Final Fantasy Tactics, like, even on the Japanese website, which you're going to see on the B-roll or footage here, a lot of these characters are still not getting official art, which, you know, I wanted. And of course, some people are going to say, you know, for being children and whatnot. The thing is, I'm still buying this game, all right? My channel is dedicated to FFT, you know? I'm like the biggest Final Fantasy Tactics fan on the internet. And I can understand both sides. You know, it wasn't the director or the team's, you know, vision with War of the Lions, but it's also, you know, the developers. They decided to take kind of more of this divisive route, because people did love War of the Lions as well. I love both games, and seeing the additions were great. However, and some of the arguments for it, okay? I'm just going to say, wait, before I get into the arguments, that people love Dark Knight. Holy moly. I thought I loved Dark Knight, but you guys are amazing. Like, not buying the game just for Dark Knight. And it's your hard-earned money, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not buying you the game. Square Enix is not buying you the game. These content creators, or fake ones, they're not buying you the game. It's your hard-earned money that you're going to work several hours to get. And especially if you're in a foreign country, the price is insane, and there's no confirmed languages yet. And a lot of what was in War of the Lions was optional, besides, you know, some of the cutscenes with, you know, Wheatgraph and Delita's mandatory story battles, which you can get a game over in, by the way. But things like Luso, you know, that was thrown in, but you didn't have to recruit him or use him. Balthier was optional. Dark Knight and Onion Knight were optional. Tyna Rouge, Disorder in the Order, Lionel's New Liege Lord, all those were optional. I thought they were fine for the most part. Like, in responses to, like, Dark Knight or Balthier being overpowered, like, there was a lot of stuff in the original game that was very insane too. You know, you have Orlando, obviously. You had math skill, you know, or arithmetics, if you know the War of the Lions name. It's kind of odd that people are pinpointing to certain things. Or, like, you know, a high bravery monk as well. That's a certain thing. Like, in regards to the Dark Knight, it took a lot to grind for. You know what I mean? It took time. Like, it's still less time, you know, grinding for Dark Knight than, you know, than my friend has spent, you know, playing Counter-Strike or, you know, Fortnite. But, you know, if you put in the time, I feel like you should be rewarded, in my opinion. You know what I mean? It's like someone getting mad at, you know, an individual for putting, you know, like $3,000 in the S&P 500 30 years ago, and then they're making money off of it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like more like options, like a lot of things should be optional. You know what I mean? It shouldn't just be forced per se. And I care about the features everyone wants. You know what I mean? So if you're being downvoted or being made fun of on, you know, other platforms, like, I don't know, Reddit, X, other YouTube channels or videos in the comments, feel free to come here. You know, I love all your opinions. I just love Final Fantasy Tactics, you know. Like that, War of the Lions, the Advance and A2 Grimoire of the Rift, I still do, just not nowhere near as much, but they are wonderful games. And, you know, I can feel and understand both sides. You know, we should be respectful of the opinions of other people. So, again, this was a long rant, or my thoughts on the whole thing. You know, I'm still excited for the additional dialogue and the voices, and also the, you know, what's going to be changed. You know, I know there's going to be some balancing perhaps, and lastly, the difficulty settings. But honestly, you know, I've played multiplayer games and done that, and I've done challenge runs as well on the channel. But to me, FFT is all about the story and, of course, the fun. And then I'm going to put the difficulties aside. So, again, I appreciate you all if you made it this far into the video. I enjoy the comments. I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the fan art I've been putting out. More to come as well, since income, you know, the views, the subscribers have been really, really great. And I do appreciate you all. If I get more, there's even more for you. I feel like it's my duty to give back to the community. And, you know, don't worry, I'm still going to do War of the Lions content. So now I'm going to end it. You know, I wish you all the best when it comes to your health, wealth, and happiness. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.